Hi, my name's Annika and you're watching Make Thrift Buy, a show where you guys send me clothes from the internet and I attempt to recreate them. Today's Make Thrift Buy was suggested by my friend Tilda, who sent me a picture of this mermaid top, originally from a shop called Tokyo Hardcore, though there are various iterations of this theme all over the internet. So let's see if I can recreate it. So first I looked up pictures of seashells to make a kind of stencil with. I found this shell whose shape looks similar to the one on the shirt, so I copied it into Photoshop and printed it out in 2 different sizes because I wasn't sure what size I wanted. The shirt I'm using is this old crop top that I've had for 5 years. I decided to use the larger shell, which I then cut out properly. Then using a pencil, I marked where I wanted the top and the bottom of each shell to be, then I traced the shells onto the shirt. Next up, mixing the paints. So red plus blue plus white equals horrible grey, apparently. So I eventually got to a pretty pastel purple by adding a lot more red, a lot more white, more red, more white. Yeah, alright, that'll do. Now I'm adding 1 part fabric medium to 2 parts acrylic paint. Adding fabric medium helps the paint to stay permanent on fabric, even when washed. Then I put a piece of cardboard inside the shirt to separate the front from the back, and I started painting. Wait a minute. At this point, I remembered what a disaster combination cardboard and paint were. Well, better late than never, at least I've learnt from my mistakes. So I carefully replaced the cardboard inside the shirt with a piece of plastic, and I continued painting my shells on. And I finished off the edges with a really fine brush. And after letting it dry overnight, and according to the instructions on the fabric medium, I put a tea towel over the prints and ironed them for a good 2 minutes. Then using a purple permanent marker and a ruler, I drew some dotted lines, just like in the top from Tokyo Hardcore. And I iron this all again because, well, why not? To style this shirt, I paired it with some ice cream earrings, bright pink lipstick, some jelly shoes to give it a beachy feel, and a long green skirt, which I felt kind of looked like a mermaid's tail. So, my conclusion? So I'll admit that you probably could buy this for cheaper than you could make it. Although obviously I'm going to reuse all these paints and permanent markers again in new craft projects. While yes, one of the points of this series is for me to show you that you can recreate things from the high street for a fraction of the cost, another motive of this series is to slow down the pace of fast fashion. Every new thing you buy uses up resources, and a lot of the time, many of the things you buy are made in sweatshops. So ending on that political note, please give my video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all next time.